Imagine this. You wake up, check your phone, boom, $400 hit your account while you're drooling on your pillow. That's my life. Could be yours too. Let me show you. Now imagine that happening every night. Better yet, sometimes multiple times per day. That can be you too. Now, how and why does that happen? All you got to do is own an Airbnb, maybe a few, and before you know it, as long as they're cash flowing, you're going to see those deposits hit almost every single day, and it gets very, very exciting. Sounds dreamy, right? I bet you I can guess what's stopping you. And guess what? It's the same garbage I would tell myself between my heart, my mind, all my fears would creep in and go, you know what? I'm probably going to screw this up. I don't have enough money. What if it goes wrong? All those questions that gnaw at you and keep you from moving forward, everything you think you could be successful at. We gotta stop doing that because you have no idea how much better your life can be when you start actually pursuing the things you think you could be great at. And no, you don't have to have done real estate before. And guess what? Every successful real estate person had a day when they had never done real estate before. And now they're successful. What's the difference? They tried, you didn't. My point here is you are not alone. Everybody's been through it. And we're gonna try and get you through it too. 100% they are valid feelings. Your feelings are okay. But don't confuse those feelings and make them into facts that are not real. So here it is. This is your no BS, no fluff, no yacht or Lamborghini renting guru talking crap that hasn't been done already by myself. I've actually done these things. I'm here to share this experience so you have the best shot at getting ahead too. I'm going to show you how to get your first Airbnb off the ground with zero experience. I usually would start at step 1, but we're going to start at step 0 because again, there is a mindset factor to this. And this is the secret that all the pros and coaches forget to tell you. Step 0, it's simple. Don't freak out because you can do this, period. The only time it's okay to start freaking out is after you get your first deposit of your first earnings from your Airbnb and you go, holy crap, it's working. Then you get carte blanche on freaking out and having a great moment to celebrate the win that you have created. Again, this is that step that no one puts in their PDFs and their fancy videos. They go straight into buying this zip code. This is the one that works. But usually if it's the one that's worked for so many people, it's probably not going to work for you for much longer. Or use this software. It's amazing. It's so proprietary. We have words like proprietary to describe it, so you know it must be good. They don't show you how to use it. Thanks. Or they tell you how everything worked for them in the past and none of those deals are available today. That's the difference. We will show you how to make deals work today. We are still coaches that are buying today and making it happen. Get yourself a coach or community at your level so you don't have those freak out moments without somebody to go and check in with and ask those questions. Hey, WTF do I do here? Because I don't know. You deserve to have a legit answer that you don't have to hope you'll find on YouTube. And let me be real, I didn't start with a fat stack of cash or connections. I was stuck and eventually corporate fired. And I had about 30 grand that I felt comfortable putting into my first Airbnb. And I did that. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have built this amazing portfolio since then. I had literally no roadmap. All I had was grit and determination. And I had a pretty keen eye on mortgage underwriting because I was teaching that at the time. So I said, you know what? I probably can figure this out. Let me make these numbers make sense. So I made it work. And step by step, it all came together, and so can you. So before you go full throttle into Airbnb, make sure you get this. You don't need to have it all figured out. I know that sounds crazy, but you don't. Number 2, you're not behind because you didn't start 5 years ago. That sounds crazy because I'm sure you would have loved to have started 5 years ago, but there are still opportunities today. And when there's a tougher market, sometimes there's more opportunity to actually get ahead. Number 3, you're not crazy for considering doing something completely different than what you've been trained to do your entire freaking life, a 9 to 5. I was trained the same way. And one day I went off course, but that off course little pivot got super wide. I don't think I would even recognize him in the same room. I would probably say, Matt, what the hell are you doing in corporate? You're miserable. You know you're miserable. It's time to go. Why don't you go try to be good at this? Because as far as I can tell, you never backed down from a fight and you've always pushed through even when it got hard. You have that same kind of tenacity or you think you can bring it out of you, probably will be just fine. You just need the guts to get in the game and the guidance to do it right. And that's what this video is. A mindset reset, a tactical plan, and your green light to finally go. Let's get into step 1 and get your first cash flowing Airbnb up and going. Step 1, know what you're actually building. You're not just buying a house. You're starting a hospitality business. And if you're a traditional landlord, it is different. And if that freaks you out, good. It probably should, because you do need to be more attentive to your guests because there's tenants and there's guests. And that's the difference between short-term and long-term. This isn't passive yet, but it is possible to get there. It's not HGTV where you have throw pillows and pretty lights. It's a lot more than that. But if you treat it like a business, guess what? It will pay you like one. That's going to take work. That's going to take money, but but it will absolutely change your life if you stick with it. So step one, you've graduated. Congratulations. If you think you're ready to take on the role of being hospitable, answering messages, handling calls, making sure things get fixed quickly, making sure the design is top-notch and it doesn't look like a college dorm room or grandma's cottage, then you're already in the right direction. You want people to go, dang, I really enjoyed my stay there. That was way better than a hotel. I felt like there was more of an experience to it. There was more of a hospitable element to it. And if you can do that, you're ready for step two. Step two, pick the right market. Caveat, or you're screwed. Listen, you can have the cutest A-frame on the planet, but if it's in a market or area that people can't travel to or just don't want to, you're probably not going to be in a good spot, literally and figuratively. Here's how to avoid that. There are primary markets, there are secondary markets, and there are tertiary markets. And then there's the what the hell is that area? I've never heard of it. I don't want to go there. There's not even a Starbucks. Are you kidding me? No. Now with most properties, if you're in the secondary or tertiary market, you can still make great money without paying for primary market prices. Clue number one, buy just adjacent to the hot markets. If you can afford the hot markets, sometimes you get premium pay, but you're also paying the premium. Pros and cons to that. And for most new folks, I do recommend staying within an hour or two of where you live. It just tends to be a little bit more comfortable. However, most of the people that we work with actually buy out of state. Most of them actually buy here in Michigan. And when they buy here, we teach them how to run remotely, and it goes really well. So don't think that you can't handle that either. I know it sounds scary, but again, when you're with a group of people that's all they do, it becomes pretty normal. And when it's normal, kind of easy. You're going to probably want to use one of those tools called AirDNA. It helps you evaluate your competitive set of data, which is just a fancy way of saying who is your competition, how are they making money, and how can you do better? Those are the questions we actually have to ask when we're looking at the stuff to figure out if this area, the market, is good for you or not. And a few other little tips and tricks. When you're looking at vacation markets, what does that equal? Weekend cash money. Those are your best times to actually get it booked, and that's going to affect your occupancy. So if most of the times you're getting 3-day weekend bookings, you're not going to have high occupancy over a 30-day run. Most of your stays are going to be 3 days a week. And again, if you average 10 days, that's only 30% occupancy. That is not bad as long as you have a much higher rate for those weekend rates, and it still makes you profitable after all of your holding costs. As for college and hospital towns, sometimes you can even get into the midterm rental segment where people are renting for sometimes 30 to 60 days. And at that point, you can have less cleaning fees, which is going to lower your holding cost of these properties. That's pretty awesome too. And third, business stays. That's the midweek magic, the Monday through Friday guys. People are flying into town, handling some business, and then they're flying out. What's cool is sometimes you can pair that with the weekend stays. Some people might want to stay in the city, or maybe you have some unique amenities that make it still attractive for the weekend goers that might live nearby too. And as a pro tip, always check the short-term rental regulations for the association, the city, the township, the county, whatever you have, to make sure you're able to operate legally. And if you really like the house, go under contract with the 7-day inspection period. During that period, you can check in with the zoning laws and just make sure you're legal to go. And if you are, keep going with the contract. And if it's not working for you, and while you're under inspection, if you find out it's a no-go for STR, you can usually release without any loss of money from that contract. However, if you find out it is a go and you still like the house after the inspection, stay in it, do the appraisal, get the design set up, close it, get it going. By the way, if you want more information on regulations and how to make sure you do the vetting process, we have another video down here. Just check it out. I think you'll be really happy you watched it. And again, this is a great time to remind you that we really appreciate all the support you guys give us on this channel. Like, subscribe, share, comment. We are all here for it. If you have questions, yes, you watching this right now, if you have questions, you want me to evaluate your listing, get you some feedback, answer some other like in-depth questions, you want to be a troll and say something stupid below, good for you, whatever. Thanks for commenting and boosting our views. I'll take it. But whatever it is, we aim to be helpful and valuable and continue to make these. So let us know how we can help you. Happy to review your listing and give you all the feedback you're looking for. Step 3, find the right property, not just a pretty one. You're not buying your dream house or your next safe house that you can move into just in case. I mean, yeah, it's a good backup plan, but you need to be buying something that's going to satisfy the guest dream experience, or at least something that can be a nice experience for wherever it's located. Ideally, never buy anything less than a 3-bed, 2-bath. I'm telling you, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, and long term, it's not going to pan out. You want bigger. Bigger is better, because the closer you are to competing with a hotel, all you're going to be doing is just kind of competing, not really competing. It needs to be special. It needs to be intentionally different from a hotel, and it's a shame people don't talk about that more. There are going to be some caveats and rule-breaking moments, but overall, that's what you want to do, unless you have something really cool like a tiny house, a tree house, or there's just a lack of 2-bed, 1-baths in an area with other unique amenities that it has available to it. Ideally, you're still going to be near attractions, wedding venues, golf golf, water, ski, snow, whatever it is, something to have fun at, a reason to go to that market. If it's downtown, you want it to be walkable. If it's out of town, that's okay as long as it's still near town. People still need a place to go to grab a bite to eat, a restaurant, and they also need to be able to get groceries. So in case they want to cook there, they have a place to grab groceries at, run back home, cook up a nice meal and go, oh, I'm so glad they have all these nice pots and pans and bowls and kitchenware. And I know it sounds weird to say, but it should be a safe area. And if it's not a safe area because you're in like a really dense metro area, maybe you're right in the heart of Chicago, downtown Detroit, whatever it is, you just got to make sure they have good parking and they can get to their home safely. Because if they can't put that in the reviews that it felt safe or comfortable to be in that city at that house, it's going to hurt your reviews and it's not going to go well. Minimally, you want to make sure that property can sleep at least 6 people. Again, there are caveats, but these days I'm actually pushing people to shoot for 12 or higher. And there's kind of a weird, amazing thing that happens at 18 to 24 or greater. Again, I'm kind of focused on even larger stays. That's kind of a thing that you're going to notice in some of my videos as we continue to scale. Our next property is looking like it's going to be a 12 bedroom. We're very excited for it. You got to stay tuned for when that happens. We're under contract right now. As for tools, it's really simple. You just got to find a property that makes sense at the budget you can afford. So figure out what your affordability is, how much money you might need to put into rehab and furnishing. And as a quick ballpark, in terms of furnishing costs, it's usually about $10 a foot for furnishing a property. So if you have a 2,000 square foot property, you're looking at $20,000 in furniture that you're probably going to be putting in there. And let's say you buy a property for 10% down with the vacation loan and it's $300,000. That's 30 grand. Let's call it 5,000 in closing costs. That's 35,000 plus your 20,000. That's 55,000. And I'm always going to recommend having some reserve money. For instance, maybe 3 to 6 months of the mortgage payment in case you have a really slow start. I've never seen anybody have a terrible start. So I really think you could probably get away with 2 or 3 months. Now, on almost every property that we do buy, we usually do start with some rehab of that level. Minimally paint, usually some new light fixtures. Those 2 things alone can make it look great. Most painters can get that done for $3 to $4 a square foot. So let's call it $3 a foot at 2,000 square feet. That's $6,000 in paint. And in terms of light fixtures, you can probably call it $150 a room. So if you have 10 rooms, you can probably call it $1,500 in light fixtures. So if we have 6,000 and 1,500, that's $7,500 potentially in rehab. So very quickly, you can see how we get to $60,000 to $70,000 to getting your first property up and running. So when you are looking for that right property, you kind of want to reverse engineer the cash that you have available to execute on this project. When you're looking on Zillow or Realtor.com, you want to keep in mind what the rehab might be and how big it is, because those are going to fluctuate what your costs are. Pretty soon, we're going to have our software out available for use. And at that point, it's going to automate a lot of these numbers for you. So it'll be very easy to underwrite, but just stay tuned on that for now. So after you have all of your costs, the only other side of that equation really is how much money can it potentially bring in? And depending on the market, if you're in an established market, you can look at 2 things: the ceiling of the most income that property can make, and then the floor of the least amount of money that property will probably make. In between that is what you got to figure out where you're going to land. And that's going to depend on the amenities and design that you put into it. Are you going to be on the low end, the middle end, or the high end? Now, in some markets, especially the Midwest and Michigan, the ceiling is really not established, but the floor kind of is. The bulk of properties in Michigan are either mediocre or getting pretty good. There's still very few great properties, and that is where the opportunity is. So when you don't have the data to figure out how great a great property will be, that's when we started creating this thing called the no data method, which is what is in our software that we're creating right now. The no data method helps define the opportunities and how much money a property can make, and there's little to no data available to make that decision. Kind of makes sense, right? So once you run your annual holding costs against what your annual earnings are going to be, that's going to tell you your profit. So what you want to do is you want to look at your net income, and if that number versus the money you're putting in it makes sense, then you're in a really good spot. So let's say you put $70,000 into this and it can net you about $35,000 in that first year. That's an amazing return. And on a cash on cash metric, that would be a 50% cash on cash return. Very, very high. Even if that was $25,000, that's still a great return on the cash you put into it of $70,000. So these are the things you want to consider. What is that return on the cash you put into it? And that's going to help you figure out if that property is worth it. Step 4, how do you fund the stream without selling your kidney? No rich uncle? Same. Here's how the real people out there fund their first Airbnb. Most people are using conventional loans, but there's also these things called DSCR loans and vacation loans. And depending on the lender you have access to, most of you will be able to fund a deal for 10 to 20% down payment on whatever you're buying. Now, if you get really good at what you're doing, you can get close closer to 5 to 10% down payments, or you're using credit unions that just really believe in the product and they believe in your finances and they go, hey, this person's likely to perform. Property is a great property. We're going to give them a 5% down payment. That's how you really get ahead with scaling. And again, at that point, when you have less money in, but you can create great cash flowing vehicles, the more properties you create that make each $2,000 a month can really change the game. 10 properties at $2,000 a month, $20,000 net income a month to you. Most people would be very happy with those numbers. And again, there's another thing called the HELOC loan. So maybe your personal home right now has so much equity in it that's just locked up in the loan. You don't want to do a refinance on it. There's something called a second line of credit, a HELOC, where you can pull out that additional equity without changing the terms of your current mortgage. Because some of you out there have 3% mortgage loans and you don't want to get rid of that. Trust me. I know some of you might even be thinking about adjustable rate mortgages, and for the really daring and the really experienced people, that can make a lot of sense. But for me, I still prefer just a fixed rate 30-year mortgage. And I think most of you should probably start there. Keep it simple. Step 5, furnish to profit. If you decorate the place like grandma's basement, you're going to get reviews that reflect just that. But you don't need to blow $50K at Restoration Hardware or West Elm either. A lot of the furniture that we buy right now comes from Article, Amazon, and Wayfair. Those three alone can get most properties done in a very nice way. And again, when you're looking at the furniture and decor cost, you're looking at $8 to $12 per foot of whatever the area is that you're trying to cover. So if it's 1,000 square foot at $12 a foot with nicer stuff, you're probably looking at $12,000 in decor costs. But maybe it's kind of lower end, or maybe you just got to start a little lower end. Minimally, you're going to be hitting 8,000, but always plan to be closer to 10. It's just a smarter move. And in terms of high ROI upgrades, it's the amenities. Guys, I'm telling you, when you have amenities in there, it changes everything. And the key is try to beat out your competition by 2 to 3 amenities. What we've seen from hot tubs is they usually bring another $10,000 of income per year. So if it only costs you $6,000 to $10,000 to put in a hot tub in the property, and you're going to make about $10,000 in that first year, it's a no-brainer. It's going to create more demand, higher occupancy, higher rates, and you're going to see that value come back on day one. Add a fire pit. Why? Because it looks great for the marketing photos. People go, oh, I can have a bonfire there. You know how many people actually have the bonfire? 5%. But the ones that do are so happy it's there. And the ones that don't booked it because it still looked like a cool thing to have. Some people just want to have the option to use an amenity, but they don't actually use it. Isn't that funny? I'm the same way. I'll book a place with a pool, hot tub, and sauna, and I might only use one of them. I don't know why I am like that, but you probably can relate to. Game room? Why? Because even though I don't want a game room, if it's got a game room, I'm gonna go in there and play it a little bit. Check out a couple of the things. Pool table, skee ball, whatever it is, air hockey. I love that stuff. It's just kind of fun to mess around with, even if I only use it for 5 minutes the whole stay. Strong Wi-Fi is a non-negotiable though. And whatever TV you have, make sure it has some kind of cable or cable mimicking ability, and make sure it can hook up to all the apps that are out there today. Pro tip, when they're selling the old furniture and all the things that come with that house, guess what? Probably don't take it. Why? Because it's used, and then you have to force yourself to design around that item. Now, if it's a very high quality item, probably a nice TV or pool table, that's still worth keeping. However, the real issue is when you're trying to use old furniture just to stay in a budget, you're usually holding yourself back from creating a really nice property. That's my pro tip. Be very, very careful with used furniture. Step 6, get it listed and automate like a pro. And if you don't, you're going to get burnt out real fast. The number one challenge about getting an Airbnb up and running is the check-ins. Good God, the check-ins are very frustrating, because if it's Thursday or Friday night and you're out to dinner with your friends or your spouse and you're finally starting to relax, you know, this is great. I'm getting paid tonight because somebody's checking in, and I'm going to just be with my loved ones enjoying the night, and oh, can't get in. Oh, code's not working. Oh, what's happening? Oh, this is broken. That's when you're going to lose you don't want to lose your stuff, right? Because that's stressful, and stress is not what we're getting into this to do. So we need to make sure we don't get burnt out, because I'm telling you, after your 100th person tells me the code's not working, oh, never mind, I figured it out 30 minutes later, I was at the wrong house, you're kind of going to go, wow, humanity is still struggling, isn't it? Anyway, I just want to prepare you for the absolute fact that that will happen to you multiple times, and you will question a lot of things about this world, but it all works out. Trust me. And frankly, you don't want to have 2 a.m., hey, this isn't working type of text either. So this is one of the reasons why you're going to want to troubleshoot and prepare to troubleshoot for that in the future. So what are your must-have tools? You're going to probably want to get a PMS, which is a property management software. There's one called Hospitable that we generally recommend. We think it's pretty cool. There's some AI automations that are integrated within it that can help ease guest communications, so you don't have to be always on the clock. And again, you can get something called a VA, a virtual assistant, a remote team member, as they get called sometimes. Get somebody that can help you handle the communication, the calls, the where's this, what's that, how this. That's the stuff that you really are going to want help with. But the issue is, if you start day one with all those things, you're just stacking your expenses. So you need to kind of like massage the timing of these things, because you don't necessarily need it day one. What you really need to do day one is just get used to it. Take notes on what those questions are, what the frequency of that similar thing is. Make sure that whatever it is, it's easy to train the next person or the AI to understand how to resolve that problem in the future, and what to do in the event it is unable to, how and when to contact you as the owner. One of my somewhat non-negotiables up front these days is Price Labs, a pricing tool, a dynamic pricing tool. There is one with an Airbnb, and if you use it, super newbie move. Don't do it. Trust me, it's just not that great. You don't need it. I think you're better off just using something outside of that. Price Labs has been pretty great to us. We tried Beyond. Beyond was okay. I think it's improved since then, but so far Price Labs is awesome. But make sure you take time to get to know it. It's a very complex system, and it doesn't have to be. The more you get to use it and know it, you'll be able to train others on it when you're ready for somebody to step into your shoes as you scale to a larger portfolio. And in terms of the locking mechanism for the front door, the keypad entry, I used to be all over the place. I used to think, oh, I want this one or that one, or this one's a better buy. But the truth is, it's kind of inarguable. The Schlage encode is it. It's not always cheap, but dang, that sucker works. And one way or another, it's probably the best tool for accessing the property. And the one thing you don't want to be cheap on is that, because when that keypad fails on you, when you go with these off brands or some other keypad that doesn't work great in freezing temperatures or super hot, that's the moment you're going to wish you just spent the extra 50 to 100 bucks on this one. Promise you. You're going to want a noise monitoring system too. There's something called Minute. It's pretty solid. There's a few other versions of this out. Some we're planning on testing on our next property. You want something that can monitor sound levels in case there's a party, how many phones are in there, and even who's smoking or smoking weed in your place. And there's a couple devices out that supposedly do all of that. I'm getting ready to test those, and I hope to be able to tell you guys about those in the next coming videos. It is great to get a Ring doorbell as well. Ring doorbell gives you a visual confirmation on who and how many are coming into your home, and that's a really good thing to have. Even if it's broken, it lets them think that you're watching them. But I gotta tell you, if you have 20 or 30 houses with Ring devices, which we did at one point, that's a lot to handle, and you're gonna have a VA team to help manage and watch all of those homes and check-ins, because one person alone getting all those notifications, I promise you, it will break your brain. And what else is absolutely necessary? Your cleaning team. If you don't have a kick-ass cleaning team, you're gonna feel it every time somebody new checks in, because what's gonna happen? They're gonna go, place is a mess, I want a refund. You're gonna find out literally within 30 seconds of them walking in that door, and it's gonna be the cleaning team's fault. So you want a cleaning team that's an excellent communicator with you. They're taking pictures, they're sharing all the things that they're noticing about the house, things that look a little out of whack, a little sideways, a little burnt, a little broken. Those are the people. You want the over communicator for your cleaning team. I promise you, it sounds annoying, sometimes it still will be, but you would much rather know more about what's going on the inside of your house from your cleaning go-to than less, because when you find out less was told to you that was very obvious from your next guest, who now gives you a 1-star rating because they found a used prophylactic under your bed, trust me, people will not be happy. You will not be happy. You'll feel embarrassed, and you're gonna have to fire somebody and hire somebody else pretty much immediately after that, because that cleaner should not be working for you ever again. You got to have a handyman that's on standby. What does that mean? I mean literally on standby. Somebody that knows that, hey, if we call you, we might need you to come out that day. So we need somebody that's gonna be willing to just jump up and go, because that's how it goes. And you're gonna probably have to pay a premium for that willingness for those emergency, quick, fast acting visits. And once you have all of those other digital tools connected, you'll be very happy about it. Oh, one more thing that I almost forgot. Turno, Turno. You're gonna want to connect that to your cleaning team so they are on the same schedule as the check-ins and checkouts are happening, and any changes that go along with the schedule. Step 7, scale to 10K months. Yes, you. Once that first property is rolling, start reinvesting those proceeds. Don't go blow it on a new car or some new cool big TV or whatever. Keep that money growing in an account, and it will accumulate so quickly, and you'll be very, very proud of it, because once you see you have another 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000 getting saved up, you're gonna know it's about time to go buy another property. And guess what? Once you have a second property generating those similar returns as the first, maybe even better because you've done a better job, you're more experienced now, you're gonna start seeing, oh wow, that 60, 70K is coming a lot more quickly. And the third one, way quicker. It's those moments where you start realizing scaling is totally for you. And that's when the larger 5-digit regular regular monthly income starts really picking up steam. And for most of you, once you're hitting 10K months, pretty much can say goodbye to your corporate job, or at least you can start doing this thing called slow quitting, where you just kind of take your pedal off the gas, you slow down, and you just kind of wait to get fired. And that's kind of pretty awesome, because then at least once you're fired, you get your benefits too, right? Not bad. As you're scaling, of course, I know we talked about getting a VA or a remote team member. You're definitely going to need one once you're past 5 properties. I don't really recommend it. We didn't get our first VA until 7 properties, and we really should have started sooner, because you need to learn how to become a better boss and how to train those people. Your first VA is probably not going to work. You're going to probably have to hire 3 to 5 VAs until you finally figure out how to work with them so they can be successful. And there's this concept called extreme ownership, and you as an owner have to have it. You have to go, how are they as successful as possible? How do I make it so it's almost impossible for them to fail? Now, mind you, they'll probably never do things as well as you. And if they do things 80% as well as you, that's still pretty good. But my point here is probably not that great of a boss, because you're new to being a boss, and that's okay. But you have to learn to be better and better with each interaction with your teams as you grow with them, because they're growing with you too. Once you find a strategy or something that's really working well for you, let's say one of your properties ends up bringing in $4,000 net per month, definitely focus on replicating that very same model that you just did, because you might have found a niche or an opportunity that other people haven't exploited. If you have 4 properties doing $4,000 net per month, that's $16,000. That's pretty amazing for most people with just 4 properties. I wish that on you. It is possible. It is available. And basically that's it. As you keep learning, you build it faster, you build it better. It improves all of your processes, and you just keep scaling. 1 deal turns into 2, 2 deals into 5, 5 deals into 10. It just happens. I'm telling you, one day when I looked up and I was like, wait, we're at 7 properties. When did that happen? Then we're at 15 and 23. And then the day I wrote that I was at 51, I kind of lost my mind. I had to go back and add them up, like dragging my finger like a 5-year-old trying to count, like 1, 2, 3, because I just couldn't fathom that we had grown that big. Now, I will tell you, I wouldn't recommend that to most people. 32 Airbnbs is too many. The others were long-term rentals, but 51 houses just wasn't worth it to me. So we're scaling it back right now. We got way more intentional. We're buying our second hotel. Hope to show you a lot more on that. And again, if you ever have questions on even hotels, we can start to answer those too. But for step 7, to wrap this up, it's all to replace your W-2, or at least execute on this vision and goal in life you've always wanted, a way to double your income, or just get out of the 9-to-5 grind that you're not really loving. You don't feel creative with, you don't feel inspired by, you're not looking forward to waking up every day and going, hey, I'm gonna work on this property. You're going, shit, I got work today. I got to get the kids ready. I got to get going. I got to beat traffic. I hope this guy's not a jerk today. Oh, that TPS report. I hate these TPS reports. I owe 5 of them today. You got to escape that. You have to be honest about that. But I will tell you, the more successful you get in this, the more you're going to resent your job. So beware. That's my final tip of this video. The more successful you become as an entrepreneur, the more you're going to want to say, screw this, and you're going to want to quit a lot faster. So be careful. It's a slippery slope. Here's the final word and the pep talk you probably need. If you're still here, let me just say, I see you. You are seen. There is a group for you, and you deserve it. You're not just interested in building a portfolio. You're not just curious about investing. You're clearly getting deeper into the weeds, and you want to learn from people that have actually done it successfully. You want a group of people that make it feel like the normal thing to do. The people that have already set the tone and they are getting that success. That's what you want, because you're growing past interested and curious. You're hungry, you want out, and you're looking for a roadmap, and this is it. This is not some pipe dream. This is what real people are actually doing, including you, starting right now. So if this helped you, hit that subscribe button. This channel is your new secret weapon. So if you're serious and ready to go even deeper, you can check out the free mini course. And it's awesome because it gives you the foundational video course to understanding how we get our people to 3 and 15K months. And if you start executing with even that, you'll probably start seeing results within 90 days. Now, if you want to have all of the community, all of the support, me actually answering your questions without just some kind of random boilerplate, boring response, you want something that's specific to you from me, you can join our actual communities. And we have 2. We have the premium membership, which is for people that are just looking to get their feet wet in real estate and get a little bit more knowledge on STRs. It's a great starting place. And if you're really thinking, oh my God, I got to go deeper in short-term rentals, the next best thing is going to our mastermind, the STR Legend Mastermind. That's where all we do is focus on how do you scale as fast and successfully as possible. And when you're ready to be a part of that no BS, high value community, just book a call. We can talk about the premium group and the mastermind and what's a better fit for you. It's not for everyone, but if it does match up for you, I'm sure you're going to love it, and it is going to change your life. And we're going to be happier to have you a part of it, because what's better than having a community full of people changing their life for the better together? You got to have somebody to celebrate with. You got to have somebody to cry with too, because tough days will happen. Anyway, book a call when you're ready, and I'll see you in the next video.